Denver 7 Meet the Picks is sponsored by Ramos Law. If you've been injured, Dr. Ramos and his team are here to help.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lionel Bienvenu, and welcome to another edition of Denver 7's special presentation of Broncos Draft 2019 Meet the Picks. Right after the Broncos picked Dalton Risner at number 41 in round 2, they traded up and selected quarterback Drew Lock out of Missouri at number 42. Oh boy, the apple of John Elway's eye. He was there, and John snatched him up. The quarterback of the future? We'll find out. Right now, enjoy this sit-down one-on-one interview with Drew Lock and our Broncos insider, Troy Renck.
All over this mock draft, you were connected to the Broncos, whether it was at 10 and then when they traded back to 20. To end up in Denver, does it feel like it was just supposed to happen, even if it didn't happen necessarily on your timeline?
You know, it really does. It really does. This feels like the right spot for me, and you know, I was looking at it before the whole draft started. We liked this place a lot, especially after my visit, coming and meeting Coach Scangarillo and TC, and Coach Elway and Fangio. Like it was a good spot, and I was really hoping that I would end up here.
One of the things I appreciate about you is you play quarterback with passion. And you're not a robot, and you're not afraid to talk. Where does that chip come from? Because your dad hinted it might have started in AAU basketball, where you had to kind of just survive. Like either that you don't play. Where did that come from? That little bit of an edge that we see. It's
a little bit of the do or die in basketball. Because in my mind it was, if I didn't start, like it was going to be a problem. I was going to be, be pretty upset and had to work there. But it was really do or die, and I think basketball is so intimate. It's face to face to where like. I got the chip. I got to be able to talk. That's where I learned to talk smack was in basketball. Yeah, because it's face to face, and it might have been the fact that they can't hit you in that sport. So I was like, I'm going to say as much as I can just to get another skin because I can't do anything about it. But no, the chip is definitely there. It goes with a little bit of where I'm from. I talk about not being a California quarterback that was highly touted because that's where they're bred over there in California or Texas football or Florida football. It was. I went to Lee Summit High School. I'm from the Midwest, and we do play football in Kansas City, Missouri.
And it's an interesting thing because you've said coming in here, they've said you're competing for the backup role, but you've really started since your freshman year of high school. I mean, even in college, you started 46 games. How do you transition to that role? What can you learn from a guy like Joe Flacco as you come in here to the pro game?
Yeah, it's the first thing I say every time I talk about it. Joe won a Super Bowl. That you talk about it happened because of this, like whatever the reasons people think it happened, like I don't think that happens just, out of the blue. I think that happens because you have a really good quarterback leading your team, and I can't wait to pick his brain about what it took to get to that point, how it felt to, after the Super Bowl, what his process is throughout the week. Like I'm just extremely grateful to be able to have a guy like that, leading that room and being able to go in and Kevin Hogan, be around those guys, Grayson, it's going to be awesome.
Lock certainly looks and sounds like the real deal, doesn't he? We'll have much more on Troy's interview with Drew Lock right after this break.
I'm a medical doctor and an attorney. When you get to court or when you get to even talking with an insurance company about injuries, it gets down to what are the injuries. It doesn't get down to what is the law. And being able to explain those injuries, that's what helps insurance companies to understand value. It's what helps get people care for the future. It really is the best of both worlds.
If you've been injured in a car crash or at work, Dr. Ramos and his team are here to help you. Ramos Law, we can help.
I watched your arm strength, and I mean, it's a wow moment. But I went, why weren't you a pitcher? Guaranteed money in baseball. I mean, Mahomes almost did it. I knew he had LaTroy Hawkins. I've covered him, and there was a chance. Was there a chance you were ever going to play baseball? You were a great basketball player.
Yeah, I don't know about the baseball because I would get caught, digging in the dirt at first base and get picked off. And if I didn't play first or shortstop, it was like, gosh, I'm getting antsy. I'm ready. I'd rather be out here on a football field leading everybody down the field, which. Believe it or not, it does have a little more adrenaline rush than playing first base in my eyes, but it was good. It was fun playing baseball, but football was definitely the calling.
When you transition to the pro game, one of the things they talk about at quarterback is how important the processor is, the mental side.
Yep.
What have you learned about that over these last few months in terms of talking to people either in the league who've talked to you about what's key to success in terms of the NFL game as opposed to college? And even though you played it at a high level and arguably the best conference.
Yeah, I think it really started. I mean, I had a lot of great coaches. I had 3 OCs, 2 head coaches. I've learned a lot of different styles of football. But when Coach Dooley got there, and he'd been in the league for 5 years as a receivers coach, in the NFL, he'd been around Tony, he'd been around Dak, like he'd been around the game of football for a long time. Where I think that's when I really started to develop, my knowledge as a Q, what it might possibly take to be an NFL quarterback, all the different adjustments that you can make. Like, I was happy that we made the decision to come back for a couple reasons. I think the main reason is to be able to get a little bit of that NFL style of offense underneath my belt and figure out what it takes to be that guy.
You've said that you grew up a Chiefs fan. How do you transition? Do you have a ceremony where you throw everything in a dumpster, or do you have to just tell them, guys, when I'm playing, you got to throw some orange and blue on?
I think that's more of my family. They're gonna have to have the ceremonies for all of their gear, and I'm excited to kind of be the bad guy for once. I went to Missouri, grew up in Missouri, was a true son. They call them true sons in Columbia if you're a true son of Missouri. Right. And I guess I'm kind of the opposite of a true son now. I'm a Bronco, and the Chiefs don't necessarily like the Broncos, but I think that'll make it a little more fun.
Thanks, Troy and Drew. Boy, that kid certainly doesn't lack any confidence or arm strength. Can't wait to see what he can do on the field. Well, thanks for watching our Broncos Draft special presentation, Meet the Picks. Make sure to join us again right here. We'll meet other picks coming up in the future. I'm Lionel Bienvenu. We'll see you next time.
Denver 7 Meet the Picks was sponsored by Ramos Law. If you've been injured, Dr. Ramos and his team are here to help.